Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So, let's see. Oh, before you guys ask, yeah, I don't work for Bodybuilding.com. They're not a sponsor. I just happen to like Bodybuilding.com, and I happen to get a shirt for them because they're smart enough to send a pretty cool shirt that is form-fitting when you order from them. So, I haven't ordered from them in a while, though. Anyway, what should we talk about today? So I got a question about being a team lead. It's a little bit of a long question, so I'm just going to read you the part that compliments me, and then I'm going to answer the question here. So this email is from Andrew, and he says, I'm not even kidding. I'm just going to read you the part that compliments me, and then I'm going to just answer it. So, my name is Andrew. First of all, I want to say thank you for all that you do. You do a really great job. Thank you, Andrew. Also want to apologize for my English. I know it's far from best. Sounds pretty good to me so far. Now it's almost a year since my friend sent me a link with an article from SimpleProgrammer.com. And when I saw that the author of the article is John Sonmez, I thought, I think I know this guy from some other place. And then I recall that I watched several courses from you on Pluralsight, especially like the one about the dependency inversion IOCDI and explanation of the bridge pattern. So I started to follow your blog since. So he goes on to say that he's a software developer with about 9 years of .NET experience, and he got this job basically that he did a coding interview for, and he did really well, and he got a job as a lead for the project, which I don't know if it seems like that maybe came as a surprise. And so he says, what can you recommend to read, or can you give me some advice on being a team lead? It's a little bit of a different role for me. Now I'll be responsible for the whole team and not just for myself. How to feel more comfortable. Just after signing the contract, I felt a little fear that I would not handle it. So let me, let's see. I'm going to start off by giving you, I did write an article actually on Simple Programmer about being a team lead, and you can check that out. That's a good resource. I've got a lot of different things here, but I'm going to talk about some of the things I talked about there, maybe a few other things here. So, being a team lead on a software development project, I think, well, first of all, it's good that this makes you uncomfortable and you're a little bit scared, because pretty much every job, by the way, every job, I should just do a video on this topic alone, but maybe I will at some time. But I'll tell you that every single job that I've ever undertook, I always felt a little bit scared. I never felt qualified for, right? I always felt in some way that I was getting in over my head. And that's good. That's how you grow. That's how you, it's uncomfortable, but, like I said, you want to talk about being uncomfortable, check out the Xamarin video, the video I did on Evolve, where I gave the talk, and basically it's about the only way to grow is to be uncomfortable. So it's good that you did that, and that's fine. Now, you want to have success as a team lead. Here's the difference here. Leadership, real leadership, is leading by example. And so that's what you're going to have to do, right? So you can kind of think of it this way. I'll kind of relate to Simple Programmer here, right? Sometimes people say, well, John, why do you do all this kind of crazy shit, right? Why do you run 40 miles and why do you got to keep up on the fitness and all this stuff, and and be producing all this stuff? You don't need to do all this stuff. And some of it is because and this is how I view leadership positions. Of any time that you're going to lead someone, which is really important, is you got to be able to do what they're doing, but do it better. So you got to be the model to follow. You can't just tell people, right? If I wouldn't have any success with this YouTube channel or Simple Programmer or what I'm trying to do if I just told you to get in shape, if I just told you to work hard and have discipline, if I just told you to manage your finances and invest, and I just told you how to live your life. The reason why, for those of you that have been subscribing for a while, if I can put some words in your mouth, the reason why that you follow me is because I'm doing those things, and I'm doing them to an extreme level. So the reason why I'm saying that, I'm not saying that to brag, right? I'm saying that because in order for me to be able to give you advice, right? In fact, I'll just tell a story, right? So I might have told this before, but there was a woman who took her son to Gandhi, to see Gandhi, right? I don't know if this is true or not, but anyway, she took him to see Gandhi, right? And she says to Gandhi, she says, can you tell my son to stop eating sugar? And Gandhi says to her, bring him back in 2 weeks. So, the lady, she's a little puzzled, like, why wait 2 weeks? Okay, so 2 weeks pass, she brings her son back to Gandhi, and Gandhi says, stop eating sugar to the boy. And then the woman says, well, why did you have to wait 2 weeks for you to say that, if that's what, if that's all you're going to say? And he basically says, well, because I had to stop eating sugar first. And that's the thing. That's what being a team lead, that's what being in any kind of leadership position is you do it first, right? And so, and that's what, why I'm doing this as Simple Programmer, but more so in your position to help you. In order to be a leader, you've got to be able to do that. You have to be able to do it first. So there's a lot of other qualities I could say about being a team lead. And like I said, if you check out that blog post, you'll find some of those. But ultimately, any kind of leadership, I want to give you the kind of formula for leadership in general, is all about this idea of doing it first. You got to stop eating sugar first. And it's not just doing it first, it's doing it better. It's doing it to the level, that inspires people. Because sometimes, I think to myself, like, if I can do things, like, I have to push this beyond the envelope. I have to push this beyond the limit so that people can look and say, okay, well, if John can do this, then I can at least do this, right? It's like you got to push it so far that what ends up happening is what the standard is, what you expect the standard, it seems normal, because you're going so far above that thing. So that's what I would tell you, as a leader. Sometimes people get into team lead positions and different kinds of leadership positions, especially when they're official. And they get this mindset of, I'm going to boss people around, or I'm a big shot now. And I think of it the opposite way. Once you're in a leadership position, now you got to prove yourself every single day. You don't just get that title and keep that title. You're like the champion in the ring, right? Sure, you knocked out the champion and you got the big belt now, but every day you got to fight a new title bout to keep that belt. You don't just keep that belt by default. So that's the thing is, it's good to be a leader. But recognize that there's a heavy burden that comes with this, and a heavy responsibility is you've got to lead that team. You've got experience. You know how things should be done, right? So you can't just have people just trust that you're going to tell them how it's going to be done. You got to show it. Yeah, you got to coach. Yeah, you got to help people. But the primary thing that people are going to see and model, and that's going to inspire them to follow you, is going to be, what are you doing? And not just what are you doing, but what are you doing beyond what is expected, right? So you set that example. So that's really the biggest tip, honestly, that I would give you. I could give you a ton more. Like I said, check out the blog post about being a team lead. But I think that's the most critical thing, because you can think and decide what kind of things that you need to lead your team in. But if you want to be successful at it, this is the kind of attitude that you may have heard people describe this as the servant attitude. I don't think it's really, I don't particularly like that term, the servant leader. I believe it's true, but I think it sort of belittles that position, because you have to come across as a force as well, right? I mean, part of it is, you don't want to be stepped on. You got to assert yourself. But the reason why you have the authority to do it is because you're doing it first, right? When I get on your ass and I say, stop being lazy, right? I did this video on stop being lazy. Some of you really like this. I don't know if I have a playlist already of me kicking your ass for being lazy, but those tend to be popular videos. But again, the reason why I'm not doing that from a humble servant type of perspective. I'm doing that because I kicked my own ass, right? So I can kick your ass and tell you to stop being lazy, and I'm going to do that from a position of authority. I'm going to tell you absolutely. I'm not going to be wishy-washy about it. So even though, like I said, it is, I think you could call it servant leadership, that's at its core, I don't particularly like that word. I like the word of leading by example better. I think that's a better way to describe it. So anyway, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I got another question on that email. How many emails do you receive each day? Probably about 100 or so. I don't know. It's like between the personal and the it varies, but and do you answer all of them? A lot of them I have either my assistant answer them, or he'll flag them if I need to answer them, or we've already kind of figured out, like you can imagine there's a lot of we've seen it all, right? So I've seen it all. So I do get some help with my inbox, but yeah, so that's it. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.